So in that game, yeah, it looks okay for them. Can they do better in game 2? What needs to change?
I think that they just need to work a little bit more around their early game. I don't think that their draft was bad by any means. I just think that the early game kind of fell apart due to that initial pick in the dual lane side, because then they lost map pressure on 2 different sides, and they're both separate sides. So Mirage is kind of just stuck trying to farm out the mid lane, and then if you commit to your solo lane side, oh, you're going to lose the dual lane side again, and vice versa. So it's kind of like a vicious cycle. Just control a little bit more of the early game, and I think that they'll be solid going into the mid lane.
Well, let's see how they do in the first 4 or 5 minutes of the game. And second Nemesis banned out by Flashpoint. They picked Susano at this point last time. Will they do the same? I hate doing that because I should be doing that. Because we're reversed on camera. Yeah. And I always go, let's have a look at the first pick. And it's not the first pick ever.
It's one of those. It's the little things in life.
I still do it wrong.
It's still the little things in life, and it will be
salty run back. Should we do salty run back?
It's not really a salty run back though. You can't really go wrong with Susano.
No, but can you do a full salty run back from Flashpoint? Do you reckon that's a bad thing?
A full. I don't know if I want a full commit, because if the execution's a little bit off first time around, I'd rather just try and refresh it with something else. I'm not a huge fan of salty run backs personally.
Are you not?
Not really.
Okay. Fafnir locked in for Memory of Gabe again, going over to Eonic for a second time, and the Sol again. Tastes like it a little bit.
Not a salty run back for Gabe. They don't.
No, it's not salty. That's just a run back.
That's just a run back.
There's a run back versus
broke, don't
a potential.
Fix it, but
potentially. Well, it was Raw and Khepri at this point from Flashpoint. We'll see if it's Raw and Khepri again, or I'm getting trolled by production and they're actually just picking the same ones again.
Putting in the game, game one.
They could do. Knowing them, they'll do it to troll us. Flashpoint have a little bit of a hesitation here, and they will go with the Khepri again. Okay.
And I believe that this is the exact same order as last time for the picks bans phase. So
next up here was it the mid lane?
Kern?
No, Kern was after
Thor. It was Thor, yeah.
We were on track.
So
okay, what's the next ban? Now we've got to think back ourselves on the fly. What bans do we see? We saw I think we saw warrior bans here. No, that was set earlier today.
Well, there's a Hercules.
Okay.
Well, I'm not certain that was the same ban as last time, but I would anticipate probably Hercules and then a support.
I'm nervous I'm getting trolled. I'm nervous I'm getting trolled right now.
Athena's a ban that they made. They're banning the Kern this time, so it can't be a troll.
High five. We're not getting trolled. That's the main thing. Woo! Okay, Kernel's banned out. Hercules from Memory of Gabe. You said it was Athena last time.
There was an Athena ban
from
in the game, and there was also the Hui ban, so
we got that in there.
This is a very, very similar game.
Well, Athena is available this time if we want to see Kiki take that to the solo lane, because they banned Morrigan and Kurdanos this time. Kurdanos was available last time, and it's going to be Thoth. So Sol played by Snoopy more than likely in the dual lane. Sol's creeping back in there slowly.
Sol's trying to creep back in there. It's still a risky decision, I think, taking a magical hunter or a magical god into the ADC role, just because of the health pool and the pressure that can be placed by a physical hunter.
Salty run back.
That's a salty run back from Flashpoint.
It is. Memory of Gabe, they'll had to switch things up based off the Kurdanos. And that's the funny thing is Flashpoint, like, we were happy with the draft. The only thing we didn't like was the Kurdanos. So if we take that away, maybe we've got a better shot here.
Like I said, I love Flashpoint's draft in game number 1. It just didn't work out from that early game execution. Only reason why I would have preferred to see them try and run something else is because if it didn't work out the first time around, it just better refresh yourselves, start over. And
Nike's the last pick here, going over to Kiki. How do you feel about Nike?
I think Nike is kind of just so independent. I mean, she's kind of like, it's hard. I don't know if I like her or if I hate her whenever I see her.
So she's like Vegemite or Marmite?
I've actually had Marmite before, and I know that I hate that.
Oh, you do?
So, yeah.
Okay.
There's no doubt in my mind, because the first time I had it was without a bit of, I had it with a bit of bread.
You hate Nike?
No, I don't hate Nike, because I've never tried Vegemite.
Poor Kiki.
So, are you saying I hate Kiki?
I didn't say that. You said that.
Okay.
You just said I hate Kiki.
You're implying that.
You just said I hate Kiki.
I don't hate Kiki. I love Kiki.
Okay. Well, let's see how Kiki does in this game. Start the game, ManRay Mirage will group up in the mid lane this time. But look at where Memory of Gabe went. Very deep into the enemy jungle. And they're actually just going to farm it up, because meanwhile, Whalrus was trying to look for a gank in mid, but they had no pressure.
They had no pressure, but Mirage and ManRay are returning the invade by going for Cyno's speed buff.
Yeah, so they're going to steal speed, but speed and blue stripped away by Memory of Gabe at the same time. Mirage going to head over to the blue buff, find that still standing. Whalrus a little bit concerned where everybody is. We'll now find out his blue buff's gone. As Memory of Gabe solo and jungler take the elementals, Flashpoint are busy taking their own jungle on the left-hand side to make sure they don't lose it this time.
This is risky. Mirage has full cooldown.
3 versus 2.
He should be out. Yeah,
Level
he's
3
fine.
versus 2 is the problem now. Mirage still going to get chased down. No speed buff is online for Cynosure too. Has to dash away, and Whalrus loses lane pressure. Mirage is going to have to heal up a little bit from those potions now.
Did he get the blue buff? I don't think he was able to drop that blue.
Who, Mirage?
Or did he leave a creep? Because that blue buff is still
I think
ticking. I think he left the creep.
Probably dropped a creep there more than anything else. But for the time being, we'll see how Kiki does in this lane against a level 3 and a level 2 as Whalrus looking for a bit of support here. Nothing really in the jungle for them to farm, so why not try and farm Kiki? Whalrus won't die of the tower with the tiger form, however. Just playing it relatively safe. Towers in the early game actually do damage.
Happy to see Whalrus not dive that tower. I don't think he ever had it in his mind to dive it, to be fair, but always that little moment of curiosity.
Well, we've been so focused on the mid and the solo side of the map, we didn't look at what happened in the duo lane at the beginning of this game. Straight up Devourer's Gauntlet's Rush from Sops here. How do you feel about that one? That's interesting.
It's something that Jing can get away with.
Just because you can go back straight away?
Jing is one of those hunters where you can actually get away with a Devo's Rush and a Boots Rush. Granted, it opens up the avenue for Snoopy and Eonic to try and play a little bit more aggressive, but because Snoopy is playing Soul, he can't really play that aggressive early. And
listen, I'm gonna give you a tip. You ready? Shifter's Shield Rush. What do you think about that?
Shifter's Shield Rush?
On Jing Wei. Shifter's Shield Rush. Yeah.
Like straight up just Shifter's Shield.
Just straight up tier 2 Shifter's Shield and then...
Not against a Soul.
Why not?
Maybe,
okay, maybe against Soul.
somebody else.
I was just talking like in lane generally. I'm not talking about against magical Soul. Like, that's crazy.
I don't know. It might work out because the Shifters is basically bootleg Transcendence.
That is true.
So
with extra protections.
It could actually potentially work out. It really just depends on how the laning phase plays out, and I don't mind this from Sops because against a magical hunter, it's excellent to have lifesteal, and when you're able to rush a lifesteal item such as Devos and get away with stacking it so early on, that's only going to benefit you in the long run.
Now you mentioned earlier on we saw a Silver Branch Bow in one of the games early on. You're not really a big fan of that against Souls, are you?
I'm not a big fan of Silver Branch Bow in general.
Why?
Just because even though it's great in the laning phase against your magical opposition, you lose so much damage potential against literally every other god on the enemy team for the most part, unless they're all magical gods, which is highly unlikely.
Would you say you only go Silver Branch if there's like 3 magicals?
Probably only 3 magicals.
It has to be 3 or more.
I would do it for 3 or more. While you can get away with it for just the pure 1v1 aspect, you're just... I personally preferred going into an Executioner or even still just pulling into the Iqbal. We saw Jermaine actually, he went Iqbal Executioner, completely ignored the magical ADC aspect and just said, I don't even care about that. I care about the enemy team.
But in my eyes, I'm kind of looking at it like, well, there's a Soul and a Thoth on the enemy team. So Silver Branches actually would be useful here in my eyes because that's where the damage is going to come from those 2 characters, right?
Yeah, it's...
I'm just fighting you.
I'm trying to deal with... I'd like to look at it from the hunter perspective, where you're going to typically just have Kiki on the Nike holding W at you, and Cyno just trying to dive you.
Well, Kiki on the Nike being pressured out by 3 members of Flashpoint as they do strip away that blue buff. But with 3 members on the right, that means Memory of Gabe will send 4 members to the left. Sops the only one here to defend, getting aggressed on by Cynosure. Golfury ends up getting reset there as Memory of Gabe were a little bit too slow for their own liking. Took them a long time to bring down those elementals, but they do get them. Eonic pinned in place as Mirage now commits, looking for Hurriwind, who ages his early on, avoids the damage. As Mirage, he won't avoid the damage, but luckily enough, he's got Shadowq in his back pocket.
Sometimes I wonder just how long that range is from Khepri Ultimate.
It's long.
That was reaching.
To be fair, it's about the same range as Geb Shield. If I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure it's
hold that thought, though. We got Cyno up in the air, looking to go down onto Sops.
Good catch. 1 more hit will be enough. Will anyone get it? Snoopy will hit the in-hand, but he can't hit the Stellar Burst because, you know, it's a small AoE.
1 more wave.
Hashtag 1 more wave, and you get punished for it. So Sops will lose it to the tower there, as Whalrus on the right-hand side forced to ult there, surprisingly enough. I guess he was a little bit worried about an all-in.
Maybe I think he just wanted to look for the solo kill himself.
Potentially, that could have been an interesting one. So there's only been 1 kill so far. It went to Snoopy up against Sops. Golfury still available. Gold lead though, over 1,000 in favor of Memory of Gabe.
That's nothing to really ignore right away. And I mean, you have to consider though that like 400 of that is purely first blood.
Sure, that's true. That's a good point, which means it puts it down at what now it's about 600 gold. And if you break that down amongst the team, it's about 100 gold each and change. If you're looking like 120 gold each, which is 2 wards or 1 sentry each. There you go. 1 sentry each. That's where you break down.
Also probably due to the elementals being controlled by In Memory of Gabe.
Yeah, the elementals and the oracles, respectively. Whalrus overextended here, under pressure, going to look to try and escape, but the slows from Kiki's ultimate causing a lot of problems. Good news is Mirage is on the way to help save the day. A good abduct coming out from Shadowq. ManRay's raw snipe is available, but he's not using it just yet. He's trying to line it up, and he won't hit it, but Mirage will. Bad news for ManRay, though. He's stuck in place with no mana. He hesitated so long looking for the snipe. Hurriwind, Eonic, and Kiki just wrap round the back.
Great recognition by the rest of Gabe to punish ManRay for being so far up the lane. Shadowq just didn't have his ultimate. It just came up. That is, oh
just
man,
unfortunate.
Unlucky.
Very unfortunate situation, but at the same time, ManRay should have recognized if he was going for that kill, he was probably going to die himself. And with that, speed buff is going to go the way of Flashpoint. 2-1 in kills as it stands here. I'm just more surprised by the amount of times I'm seeing now teams not going for a starter item. After everyone staying starter items were OP, I keep seeing things like Breastplate of Valor Tier 2, Rush of Bancrofts, Rush of Book of Thoth, Rush of Devourer's Gauntlets.
Sometimes you just got to play around with things a little bit more.
But starters are OP. Starters are OP, Taco.
So
everyone's been saying it, you know? 17 starter items in the game, oh no! But then nobody buys starter items in other games.
Everything's broken. That's the only thing you need to remember.
I'm not broken.
Matchmaking, items, relics. It's all just out there.
It's all just broken, indeed. Oracles have respawned. Hurriwind, Snoopy, and Eonic around here contesting against Shadowq and sops. Mirage is on the way, as is Cynosure. One is down, the other is down. sops secured that one with the basic and will manage to just sneakily get away. Eonic pops his ult very early on, and Shadowq's in trouble. Won't get a chance to ult himself. ManRay's ult is on cooldown too, as sops is looking to escape. Airstrike down. Oh, with a little bit early from Cynosure there if he wanted sops. He ends up hitting ManRay, but didn't think about committing to ManRay until just now. Knowing that Snoopy's with him, ManRay's alive with the Aegis, and now Mirage for an easy double kill.
Mirage with the easy cleanup, and now ManRay actually survived. I didn't even realize ManRay lived through all of that. Whalrus made the rotation. I'm not sure they want to commit to Hurriwind here.
No, not right now. At least when Hurriwind has that final judgment still alive. But that's where Memory of Gabe are faltering here, is this Gold Fury. They go for the Oracles, and then there's a fight that ensues that generally Flashpoint keep even trading for the most part. Mirage, 3 kills so far in this game. All the kills Flashpoint have. Scary thing to have a Susano like that.
Whalrus is looking for the stun and gets stunned by Hurriwind himself, but I do have to agree. You can tell that there's just sparks of life from Flashpoint. They're not ready to just let this set go away.
Not right now. Whalrus has rotated over from the solo lane here, looking to pressure Hurriwind out from contesting the Gold Fury. Frenzy popped, looking to burst this down. A Flashpoint as quick as they can. ManRay has his ultimate. You see him walking back, looking for the snipe. Reset! He resets as the ManRay comes through the snipe, so winning over the wall comes Cynosure. Double tap, sops is gone. ManRay next on the list, no Aegis this time, Sunshine to strip away, but Shadowq will get a good ult off to increase his movement speed for getting away. Body block as well from Shadowq is good. Good work from the support player there, but there's not much else he can really do after that. Gold Fury reset again. Whalrus back in the fight after the TP.
I would have preferred to just see them commit to that. They reset it, panicking about Hurriwind's ultimate, and so because of that, both the mids missed their ult, and now it's Cyno. He wants Mirage.
He missed Mirage. No, that says Cynosure. That does not say weaken, right? I was just making, sorry, I wasn't sure if I was reading the text correctly. I was just like, hang on a second.
Well, there's an E in there.
There is.
So that's close enough.
That's true. He's also at negative KDA, so that's pretty close. I'm getting there. Stop firing the shots now. 10 minutes in, the Portal Demon now spawns. And then the question is that, well, if you can't do the Gold Fury, do you go to the Portal Demon instead because it's easier to kill?
I just still can't believe how that fight broke out for Flashpoint. It's just that, poor sops, if anything. He kind of just face tanked Hurriwind's ultimate, and then next thing you know, he's just getting double tapped.
That sounds like an argument in comments. You could see an argument in Flashpoint's comments of like, ManRay going, why did you reset the Gold Fury? I was just about to snipe it, looking to try and secure it. And then Sop's like, well, it wasn't me who reset it. I was low in health. I had to back out. And as he was saying that, he got hit in the head by Cynosure's hammer. And I was like, well, this isn't going well. Bad times.
That was just so quick over the wall. It's just Cyno out of nowhere with the RKO. But hopefully...
Look at you with wrestling terms. Do you not even know what an RKO is?
What do you mean? A KO?
An RKO. Do you know what it is?
Of course.
What is it?
Are you kidding me? I can do it to you right now.
You could do an RKO on me? We'll do it after the game so it's on air so people can see it. Oh, you really want to try it? I'll be hilarious to see you try.
Oh, man.
I've never expected to come on a broadcast and hear a girl say to me, yo, do you want me to RKO
That's like
you?
one of the most common stream terms of all time. That's what everybody says whenever somebody just gets like completely destroyed.
Do you know where it comes from?
Well, I mean, I'll be real with you. I started saying it after Allied kept going on with the whole Stone Cold Steve, that wrestler.
Stone Cold who?
Steve Harvey or whatever.
Steve Harvey, yeah. Steve Harvey, he was great. 316.
Yeah. I had to make sure I didn't like mess that one up, man. You don't know how hard I just panicked right then and there.
No, it's terrible. When you mess things up like that and people catch you out, Twitch will just blow you up.
They never let you live.
Yeah, Stone Cold Steve Harvey.
You never get to like show your face again.
Luckily enough. I mean, that could have been an awkward situation there, but we're okay for now. Taco survives to live to fight another day. Or does she? Whalrus gets hit by a hammer at level 11 up against Eonic's level 10. You can see he's still behind against Kiki in the solo lane here, and Kiki's just continues to farm up, has his breastplate of Valor online. Second relic is available. Where do we expect to see the second relics going here, Taco?
Second relics for Whalrus?
For all the teams, basically.
For all the teams? I would anticipate probably a Sunder or Meditations even. Shells is another popular item for the supports and warriors to look towards picking up.
Mirage gotta try and aggro this purple buff, trying to make sure that Memory of Gabe reset it as they look to strip it away. Hurriwind clearing out wards around the Gold Fury, and this is the dance of the Gold Fury once again. It's very similar to the Fire Giant one, just the area is slightly different. Flashpoint are just basically on the defense the whole time now.
But Flashpoint are already in a better position 12.5 minutes into the game than what 12.5 minutes looked in game number 1.
Yep, that's true indeed. You do know that Stone Cold Steve Harvey is not Stone Cold Steve Harvey, right?
Am I actually just getting prank patrolled right now?
No, I've just been sat in it for that long. But I just realized that people may think I think he's called Steve Harvey and he's not called Steve Harvey.
Oh my god. No, you can't be. You're trolling me right now.
I'm pretty sure he's called Austin. Stone Cold Steve Austin. Does that ring a bell?
Oh my god, no, it is!
Steve Harvey is the guy who does Family Feud, Taco.
They're not even the same color. Oh my god.
What's color got to do with it? Like, still, it's bad enough. I mean, to be fair, seeing Stone Cold Steve Harvey would be interesting. I watched him drop some beers.
I literally just had Steve Harvey stuck in my head. I don't know why. I think I've been watching way too much Family Feud recently. I've been seeing so many Family Feud YouTube clips recently. Oh my.
The Stone Cold Stunner got so much more interesting. Can you imagine seeing Steve Harvey drop a Stone Cold Stunner? How good that would be. I'd pay to see that.
No, I am never going to live this down, Hindu.
No, I know.
You know what Maddie is going to say the second that I see him?
Pickle, cook me dinner.
He's probably going to ask how old I am. That's what he's probably going to say.
Well, so far so good. That conversation was more interesting than Flashpoint's play so far this game, in fairness, as Memory of Gabe just continued to control it for the time being. 14 minutes in here, and the main talking point, I guess, is where Mirage is. He's 3-0-0, he's 2 levels above Cynosure, and basically this game feels like it's on his back.
Why couldn't you just let me leave it at Steve? Why did you make me have to say the last name?
Because you looked like you were hesitating. You didn't know what you were talking about.
No, because I knew it was Stone Cold Steve.
It's because you listen. You mentioned an RKO, and I don't think you knew what an RKO was. Okay, so I was almost offended. Okay, because I know what an RKO is.
Okay, no, the RKO is a very common term, and that is actually a very popular one. But
okay, stop defending yourself now. We've got a game to cash. You can do it on Reddit later today. Okay, or in your or use your Twitters. That's all it's there for. Still, no Gold Furies down in this game. Memory of Gabe looking to around the left-hand side right now for sops. Gag. Ingo, Cynosure looking for the wall. Won't be able to find it. Meanwhile, in the jungle, Hurriwind and Eonic. We're doing a very good job of zoning Flashpoint away from trying to rotate to support him.
And already, Snoopy just trying to be as effective as possible on this soul.
Yeah, well, he already is. I mean, it's 2-1-1 right now. You're really distracted, aren't you?
Oh, God, you have no idea. Everything. My mind's a million miles an hour right now.
It's okay. It's okay. Just have a nice cold brewski after work with Stone Cold Steve Harvey, and you'll be fine. Okay? It'll be a good day. Kiki's starting to make a rotation from the solo lane now towards the mid lane. Has teleport available after clearing the wave up against Whalrus. And with Kiki showing his face mid, it's a sort of a go sign here for Memory of Gabe to look for this Gold Fury again.
I'm deleting the VOD, by the way.
You can't. You can't. There's clips everywhere. Gold Fury is pulled. And Eonic tanking it up as Cynosure on Zone G with Hurriwind. Shadowq used the focus again, who eats the abduct onto Kiki. He didn't want to do that. In the sky is Cynosure, looking to maybe collapse on Shadowq. You know he's going to zone away sops and ManRay. To the backside goes Whalrus and Mirage, looking to collapse onto Hurriwind, who needs some help. But Hurry's just doing his work on his own. Sops is forced out of the fight by Kiki thanks to a fantastic slow. As Hurriwind still running away, gets back towards Snoopy, and it's Whalrus that's going to cloud to safety, but he's not done with Hurriwind yet. Hurriwind baits him in for a second and dashes away. ManRay a little bit late on that snipe that was definitely looking for Hurriwind. Flashpoint end up getting poked out all over, and Memory of Gabe a little bit healthier, able to still start the Gold Fury.
If that ultimate had connected from ManRay, that would have actually placed Flashpoint in a contestable position for that Gold Fury. But because of everybody on Flashpoint just getting forced out, all their ultimates are down, there's nothing they can do.
No, there's not, and that's just going to give a little bit more of a lead now towards Memory of Gabe at this stage. Gold is still only just under 2,000 right now. Experience, as you can see it on the table, just between the level differences, it's about a level lead for most of the characters of Memory of Gabe, I'd say. No, actually, no, Flashpoint still have the experience lead, surprisingly. I'd say that because you've got Mirage and Whalrus are ahead of Kiki and Cynosure.
I mean, pretty efficient farming at least by Flashpoint, because at one point it was actually Whalrus who was behind Kiki. He was trailing Kiki just ever so slightly, but I think when they disengaged, they looked to just go farm out the lanes and whatever they could find in the jungle, knowing that the Gold Fury was no longer in a position where they could try and contest it.
I think the biggest difference between the two there was the fact that when Kiki rotated towards mid lane, Whalrus stayed in lane, farmed up, looked to get the tier 1 tower down, which he eventually fell, then teleported towards that fight to make an impact. Whereas Kiki manually rotated and lost him a little bit of experience. Now Kiki, bit of trouble on this right-hand side, surprisingly enough, though I don't think Flashpoint realized he was 3v1 in there, but now that Memory of Gabe come around, they're actually going to catch Shadowq in the jungle, who was just looking to back. He just wanted to back. Shadowq just wanted to run away, and now he might have to run away the hard way if he chose it. I believe a Sunder came off there at one point, did it not? No, I'm lying again. That was a stun from Thoth.
I'm liking it. It can be. I can see how you can miss that, because Thoth actually looks a little bit like that Sunder shot, especially.
Kiki committing mid lane there for a second, looking for the pressure to Mirage. Won't be able to find it for now. Approaching 18 minutes in, and Mirage just continues to stay alive as long as he can. Gone for the Heartseeker here. We're not seeing too many Heartseekers lately, Taco.
Not a whole lot of Heartseekers, but I think this is the second time we've seen it picked up on a Susano, I believe.
And it's because of the extra mobility, I guess, and the extra in-hand damage from the next basic.
It's just nice to have.
Sure.
It's just way more kind of damage item.
Look what Sops just did there, where he just dashed through the Stellar Burst like, no, Snoopy, I'm not going to get hit by that. Because there's not really much follow-up a Sol has after that Stellar Burst, unless she's going to try and all-in commit. Mirage around the right-hand side, going to catch Eonic in a bit of an awkward spot, but he should be able to leap away back towards the mid lane. Different story for Sops on this left-hand side, though. He's forced out once again by Snoopy, as the Portal Demon is about to spawn soon, and both teams are starting to pay attention to it.
I can imagine Snoopy was probably waiting for Sops to do the dash forward again for the lane clear, and then he just catches him off guard with that.
Well, he might be able to get a tier 1 tower on the left-hand side now, Snoopy, as the rest of the teams are all standing around this Portal Demon, knowing it's available soon, and it's a decision time for Sops. Do I go a lane, which is what he's going to do, or do I go towards the Portal Demon?
If I'm Flashpoint, I'm probably just looking to try and group up. They have Mirage and they have Whalrus, who are far enough ahead to, and it's not like anybody on the side of Flashpoint is really ridiculously behind. It's literally just a slight XP difference between Shadowq and Sops, and I think as long as they have Whalrus and Mirage there, they can probably win a team fight.
I think the most telling thing here, Taco, is the fact that when Flashpoint groups up last time, that's when they look the best they have so far. And I think if they do it again with exactly the same composition, they should just do just as well, if not a little bit better, knowing that Whalrus and Mirage aren't as far behind as you were saying, compared to last time we saw them with this comp. So maybe grouping up's the best idea here.
They're kind of just, I don't want to say hesitating, but it seems as though they're concerned that if they let one team fight go awry, then they're just going to lose control of the game again. And right now the game isn't really out of control. It's probably being a little bit more dictated by Gabe's pacing, but they're still showing that they can fight into it at the very least. So I just kind of, like we said, I just want to see them group.
Definitely all about ward battles this one as well. As you can see, the ward's trying to cover the Gold Fury area and the Fire Giant area too. Pretty even between the two teams as you look down the list. Cynosure being a bit lazy, as generally junglers are when it comes to warding, but Shadowq out of position here. Bit of trouble, but he's not panicking too much. The snipe from ManRay, that was a little bit more panic than you'd expect. And now Cynosure's like, hang on a second, Raw ult's down, maybe we can fight.
And that's exactly what he's looking to do. He's looking to collapse straight onto Whalrus.
Didn't get
able to barely get into the ultimate, but Shadowq had to drop his as well.
Yeah, 2 ultimates wasted onto Flashpoint there. One of his own for Whalrus and Shadowq's as well, with ManRay's being down and Mirage's. Whalrus is still dead on the right-hand side. Meanwhile, mid lane, Snoopy and Sops boxing off, and Snoopy loses that trade to Sops. Mirage against Kiki, and Mirage loses that trade to Kiki.
And again, that's just the minor collapsing of Flashpoint. They just weren't all grouped together, and while they were all kind of in the same area, they were spread out far enough to where they can't fight off each
Sops
other.
looking for a cheeky steal over the wall with a knock-up. In fact, Memory of Gabe reset it the moment it happens. The airstrike was used too, and Sops' day is getting worse now. In goes Kiki to the backline, going to slow down 3 members with a fantastic ult. Shadowq once again abducts onto Kiki. Every time he tries to abduct to get away is the moment Shadowq falls down. Mirage is going to fall soon too as Hurriwind picks him up. ManRay's next on the list. Sops is the final casualty. The agility will buy him a second, but with speed buff and KikiSoCheeky chasing him down, he will eventually fall down to Cynosure.
That Nike passive is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
That's looking like a lot of fun for In Memory of Gabe.
And they just got another laurel there, as you could hear it go through. They hit 10 kills thanks to Sops going down. Not only that, they should find the fire giant here unless Whalrus can be a hero. Whalrus, be my hero. You can be my hero, Whalrus.
There's no way.
You can be my hero, Whalrus. Oh, go sunder him.
Kill.
Yeah, keep him busy. He's getting low. Oh, that Suns are doing so much damage. The heat from the giant is doing so much. Whalrus looking for the steal. No, he misses it. God, that would have been so good if he did that.
Hurriwind has slain the fire giant. Just a little bit of mage damage over the wall in a safety zone. Hurriwind was not trying to tank up all that lava damage like the rest of his team, so...
Well, Whalrus trying to slow down the retreat of Memory of Gabe here. And it's only Kiki and the Eonic that go around. But I'm glad they did, because the Portal Demon is still available, and we could have seen Flashpoint look to take that for themselves, or even the gold here. I'd actually like to see Flashpoint go straight to the gold here right this minute. Yeah, they're going to do it. I hope. No, they're not.
They're not. I was waiting for it as well, hoping, but it seems as though they kind of want to try and
defend the Portal Demon. I think they're worried about the Portal Demon being lost here, even though they've lost a Fire Giant now. Gold lead stretched to about 5,000 gold in favor of Memory of Gabe.
Just push gold. Please just push gold.
Just commit gold?
Yeah, they need
to
just,
I
think that they can burn it. They can burn it fast enough with Sops and
I just don't think they realized where they were at in the stage of the game right now for that to happen. Golfier won't take the moments, and with the Frenzy Pop, he's definitely done. There's a snipe this time from ManRay saying, no, there will be no steals this time round. Small adjustment from last game, but Memory of Gabe was starting to pressure mid with Snoopy on that soul. The rest of Memory of Gabe is swinging around to the left-hand side, trying to make sure where they can find Flashpoint, denying them access to the Tier 1 tower there potentially as well.
Gabe just trying to lock Flashpoint out of their own jungle, essentially, really preventing them from farming up what little bit of the map that they had left. Picking up the Gold Fury is still a huge win for Flashpoint, considering how the last couple of minutes have gone, but I don't think it's enough.
We've still not seen Flashpoint group as a team yet, have we?
And they won't get a chance to if Whalrus takes a spill.
He's out. No, he was out. He baited so well, then he just got so many abilities off for free. Sunder's on cooldown now. So they're like, listen, we can fight this time round. That's what Flashpoint were doing. It's calculated play from Whalrus. It worked out.
Kiki still has his Thorns available, though. Well,
we'll see what they can do against the Thorns. They're all collapsing onto Sops right now, trying to burn another ultimate if they can. Tier 1 down the left, Tier 2 down on the left, and now Tier 2 in the middle lane. Could be sieged down. They were a little bit worried about backdooring it there for a second. Eonic was happy to tank, but Cynosure and the rest of Memory of Gabe were like, wait for the creeps to turn up too, and we'll get some free backdoor protections to chip it down more. We don't get poked out just so heavily.
And right now, though, they need to be concerned. Shadowq already getting aggressed on. He's such an easy target to make. The T2 tower is going to fall already. They're trying to go in ManRay with the huge snipe on a Hurriwind.
Over 1,000 damage to Hurriwind's face, and he will not enjoy that, that's for sure. 4 members of Memory of Gabe, though, undecided about what they want to do next. With Whalrus coming down, they're going to wall him perfectly. Shadowq's forced to ult defensively, and it does pop thanks to Archers or Bluestone, one or the other. I'm guessing it was probably Archers looking at builds. Archers to the rescue.
Archers are kind of OP.
No,
Creeps
really?
are always OP.
They're supposed to be.
Creeps are always OP. It doesn't matter what stage of the game it is, especially if they're on fire. They're just nuts.
You know who's really OP?
Please don't say it.
You know who's really OP?
No, I don't want to answer this question. I'm moving on from
we
this.
asked 100 people who we thought was really OP. Do you know what they said?
No.
All 100 people said it.
I don't want to hear it.
Okay. Tier 2, Tier 1 to the right-hand side falls down. Only a Tier 2 left standing for Memory of Gabe to look to assault down. Meanwhile, Sops on the left-hand side is looking for the tier 1. Just to back some of the gold and continue trying to level up to the best of his ability. But it's an awkward situation for Memory of Gabe. Sorry, for Flashpoint, I should say. Because Memory of Gabe kind of gave him a window last time, but they've not done that this time against Flashpoint. Flashpoint haven't had a chance to even group and put on a decent team fight.
Cleaner gameplay for sure this time around from Gabe. They're not looking to risk anything because in game number 1, that could have very well gone the way of Flashpoint. It's just that Gabe managed to capitalize off of the little mistakes that Flashpoint made. The few moments that they weren't grouped and it just kind of fell apart.
Indeed. 4-10. Sops going to drop the purple buff for Whalrus to pick up some for the front line. Don't often see the solo laners with the purple buff, but it is relatively useful for him, giving penetration to the whole squad.
God, I still can't believe I said Steve Harvey.
Yeah, you did.
I can't believe.
And you didn't realize you were wrong either, even though I just went silent and just left you with it.
Because you kept a straight face.
That's my job.
Oh man, but speaking of
straight faces, where are you going to go with that one? Speaking of, that was the worst segue in existence. Fire Giant is about to respawn in a minute's time. And Memory of Gabe are actually just waiting right now. As the lanes have pushed out, they're going to try and push them back a little bit more. They want this next Fire Giant before they look for the tier 2 tower and the Phoenixes. But if they can find a pick onto someone like Whalrus right now, like they nearly did again, that can't keep happening though. Like legit, that can't keep.
Fire Giant.
They can't keep using both the Khepri and the Wukong on the same target. That's just not working out for them. Having both those ultimates on cooldown is disastrous because it means Mirage can't even go in next because Shadowq's not going to have his ultimate available to keep him alive.
Well, if you look at the health that Whalrus is surviving on, it's just there's nothing else he can really do. Shadowq is so concerned that the Wukong is going to die before he gets off into the cloud, and now Kiki's kind of just left to try and zone out.
They could look for Shadowq at the moment because he's got no ultimate to escape this time round, then he will fall down. Hurriwind credited with a kill. Cynosure was cutting off the option, and that's why he came down a little bit later. And now Memory of Gabe can fall back to the Fire Giant, knowing one of the Guardians is dead.
This is probably a free Fire Giant to Memory of Gabe. I just don't see how Flashpoint really get in there and try to secure this.
Well, Mirage is swinging around the back looking for a low health target, which is Kiki of all people. Is not the one they would really be after. Sops took a lot of free chip damage from Solar. Now Whalrus once again surrounded him. They're worried about Whalrus, even though he's got no ultimate. That could be the reason though, he's got no ultimate. So trying to trap him in a corner and let the Stellar Burst do its work. Meanwhile, double tap into spin to win, forces Sops away, and ManRay stands alone. Will hit a snipe and gets 2 Aegises for his pleasure. Nice little work out of that snipe. Mirage is back, Mirage is dead.
Oh man.
That was brutal.
That is actually rough.
Yeah. Really nice wall from Cynosure.
The Thor wall was just beautiful. I would not have anticipated that Thor wall either if I was Mirage.
Did you anticipate the Fire Giant going down?
Yes.
Good job. You got one thing right so far today then.
Oh,
Portal Demon's also going to go the way of Memory of Gabe, so they'll probably head back to base, get full health and mana, spend the last of their gold that they got from that last little engagement. Sops will get the gold for you on the left-hand side, and then be looking for the siege down of these Phoenixes. Flashpoint's defense isn't too bad at Phoenixes, though, Taco, with the comp they've got here, because, you know, Raw can kind of hide away now and again and look for the cheeky snipe combo.
But the burst potential and the shred potential that Gabe has onto the Phoenixes won't really provide a whole lot of... These Phoenixes won't provide too much assistance to Flashpoint.
That's true, especially when you've got Sol that's going to shred it with the Coerce buff. We saw that in Game 1 coming through from Eonic on that Fafnir too. But I guess it's all about all-in from Flashpoint here. Because what I seem to see happening is like Shadowq walks forward, Whalrus walks forward, Whalrus gets focused, Shadowq tries to save him, Whalrus tries to save himself, and then there's 2 ultimates down, and there's another ultimate down again, and it's just slow, slow, slow bleed.
Forcing out Whalrus' ultimate has really been the biggest keynote here for Gabe, because Whalrus is such a huge frontlining factor for Flashpoint that without his ultimate, he kind of only has one chance to get it right, and if he messes up at any stage or gets caught out, it's just over. That team fight is just expended.
Well, into the middle lane they go. Memory of Gabe sending 4 members down here, left-hand side. Kiki's also pushing that wave. Available for the next rotation, because then he can rotate to mid as well. Eonic going to tank things up in the forefront if he needs to. Getting aggro. The crits coming through from Sops, though, making Eonic be a little bit more honest than he wants to. There's Mirage going in straight towards Hurriwind. Hurriwind trying to stay alive as long as he can. The beads stop the knock-up prevention from going through. Kiki, meanwhile, ults the backline to keep them all busy and gets abducted away by Shadowq, but Shadowq's very low, worried about extra damage coming through. So ults himself defensively. defensively. Whalrus is on the front line, but has no ult. Sops is forced out too, and Cynosure takes to the sky.
And Cyno, he's about to land back down with the Sops, and he does. Sops able to get his ultimate off, though, just in time. But the mid-Phoenix,
is already down. And meanwhile, you can see Mirage still trying to fight in amongst 3 members. Snoopy wants to give chase and find the kill, won't find it. Hurriwind will, though, from downtime, but Sops is back in the fight, jumps into 3, changes his mind. The wall down from Cynosure will hit onto Shadowq to allow the double tap as well. Sops now 1 hit from death, has to Aegis to try and buy himself a moment, and no amount of Devourer's Gauntlet stacks there will keep him alive against 4 members of Memory of Gabe with a fire giant. Guys, the Phoenix can't die until you take a tier 2, okay? Like, you've been playing long enough to know that the towers have to die first before Phoenixes fall.
I'm surprised they're even bothering with the T2. I think they could have just looked to end.
You mean going down mid lane?
Going down mid lane, yeah. There's no Phoenix there. There's only 2 Phoenixes alive right now, and 3 members of Flashpoint were already dead.
And on the left-hand side, you can see Snoopy's just split push into victory too, so more problems.
ManRay about to fall as well. Able to get away from Eonic. Luckily, he is a Fafnir, and it seemed like he used his cooldowns already to get him that low. But Snoopy's just wailing away into that Phoenix, into the Titan room now.
And that's the bottom line, because Steve Harvey said so. Memory of Gabe 2-0 against Flashpoint.
Yep, that one's never going to go away.
Nope, never going to go anywhere.
You know those like moments where like you know a name, but it like turns into somebody else's name?
There he is on your screen. Thank you, production, for that one. That's great.
I just hate my life right now.
You should.
I'm about to go black out on Twitter, man.
Stone Cold Steve Harvey. With that, that's all we have here from the casting section. We're going to head over to the desk now to break down the last 2 sets you saw. Take it away, Zach.
All right, welcome back to the desk. I'm joined again by Tom. How you doing there?
I'm barely alive, man, but you know what? I don't know about wrestling. I don't know enough about wrestling to make a funny reference, so there's that.
I mean, there's so many ways we go. We could keep on with the Stone Cold Steve Harvey. You mean like Randy Johnson out of nowhere with the RKO?
Okay, first of all, I want to give a shout out to our production guy, Jordan. That's who actually had the Randy Johnson out of nowhere. Nice try, though. He typed it in the Twitch chat, you commented on it, and then used it at the desk.
Hey, great artists always steal, all right? So I'm not quite great because you called me out on it, but I'm trying. All right, so after all the games, let's go take a look at the standings for today and how NA shaked out.
Shaked?
Shaked out?
It's shook, actually.
Shook out?
And that's exactly what you're looking like right now. Luminosity in Memory of Gabe, exactly the opposite. Very, very strong performances. Obviously, LG not today, but in Memory of Gabe, just trucked it, looking really fantastic.
They did. The first game looked a little close, looked like in Memory of Gabe, kind of had some issues at first, but then closing out the game. And then game 2, they obviously were in full control of that game.
Yeah, it looked easy, and I say that with all the love in the world for Flashpoint. Like it just looked easy for Gabe.
All right, but nothing comes easy. Nothing comes easy.
Is that a wrestling quote?
It's not. It's just just a statement. Nothing comes easy.
It's definitely a wrestling quote, isn't it, folks?
No, I'm just trying to have a conversation with you. I'm trying to tell you that nothing in life comes easy, especially in the SPL.
Okay.
All right, come on, just have a conversation with me.
No.
You're too tense. Loosen up.
I'm waiting for something here.
No, I got nothing. I'm not that good yet.
All right.
Come on.
All right.
So, Flashpoint versus In Memory of Gabe. What stood out for you in this game? We had ManRay stepping in for Sheikah. How did he do in his mid lane role?
He did kind of exactly what I expected out of ManRay. He was able to really do his job. This is an unfair representation of his skill set. However, I don't think that you can look at how ManRay did or anybody on Flashpoint did against In Memory of Gabe. I think it's just unfair. Now, despite the fact that Noble did find the 2-0 this week, I want to see Flashpoint against a team like Noble. I want to see Flashpoint against the lower end teams. Listen, buddy, nobody's gonna ask you to go cast with Hindu Man and then ask who was better. So it's one of those things where the new guys are new, and they just got to learn against some of the other equally matched opponents.
All right, so let's take a look at Game 1. What stood out for you in that Game 1 matchup?
Between ManRay specifically?
Yes.
I mean, really, just his power was able to tread water, which is appropriate enough. But like I said, I think there are better matchups to really look at.
Is that it?
That's all I got.
All right, so looking across the board at Flashpoint and IMOG in Memory of Gabe, let's look at the solo lane matchup, the Whalrus. Okay. How does he transform Flashpoint?
Now, Whalrus is a much better one to talk about because Whalrus actually has some individual skill on the same level as in Memory of Gabe, obviously. So I think that coming into this matchup individually, Whalrus really transformed that side of the map. I'm not looking for ManRay to go ahead and sit in the mid lane and become this gigantic player that can put the game in his backpack. Whalrus, on the other hand, he can start to make that happen. We saw him 1v5 trying to get that Fire Drain steal. In Memory of Gabe kind of ignored him like a fly, but still, the idea is that Whalrus had a lot more potential there. Potentially for Whalrus, I think that this can be a positive for Flashpoint over time with Whalrus' skill level. We saw that during the laning phase, a little bit during the team fight phase, but much more during the laning phase.
All right, and let's talk about hunters. Let's talk about Snoopy. You know, he's made the transition. He's always played the hunters, but now he's firmly entrenched in the ADC role. How is he impacting these splits?
Really, I mean, he's just back. Sometimes it's that simple. He's just back. Watching Snoopy play in the hunter role is so much nicer than watching him play in the mid lane. For me personally, it's, despite not being his favorite spot, it's where he looks the best. And we just get, I mean, this play isn't flashy. But in the hunter role, you don't have to be. You just have to be consistent. And Snoopy is consistent and can go the extra mile.
Absolutely. He's been the epitome of consistency, I think, with this play. You know, maybe not always the case, but he's definitely showing that he's grown as a player, showing that he can step up and, like, take the team on his shoulders if he needs to.
Yeah, he absolutely can be that guy. You can turn to Snoopy and say, look, we need you to win the next 10 minutes of the game while we do something else. Can you do it? And he'll go, okay.
All right, you know who else can take a game and put it on his shoulders?
Hurriwind.
Hurriwind can do that. Talk to me about how Hurriwind impacts his team through his role.
Hurriwind's one of my favorite people to watch, honestly. He is self-aware, and I think that's one of the bigger deals here, is that Hurriwind understands his issues, and one of his issues tends to be positioning. He likes to be over-aggressive. But rather than just sort of say, I don't know, it's my team's not there to help me, he commits to it. And he goes, yes, I'm over-aggressive because I'm looking for these kills or I'm looking for this specifically. And these aggressive plays have become a hallmark of him and his squad, and it's why he's so successful.
Overall, what would you say was the difference maker throughout the whole game between these two teams?
Overall skill level, man. I mean, at the end of the day, frankly speaking, in Memory of Gabe is just a better team right now.
Is that it, though? Is like cut and dry?
Yes.
All right. Well, sometimes it's that simple, folks.
Yes.
All right. So let's talk about, since it is that simple, let's talk about Weekend and his squad with ALG, with Team Allegiance and Noble. How do you feel about this set?
So this is exactly the opposite of what we just saw. In Memory of Gabe is straight up just better than Flashpoint. However, ALG versus Noble, much different scenario. I actually, before coming in today, would say that ALG is the better team than Noble, but not easily. But Noble absolutely proved me wrong in that regard, taking the 2-0. They put on a fantastic performance, and I don't think that it was ALG dropping the ball. I think a lot of people would say, oh, well, look at them last week, it was a fluke, but absolutely not. We saw Noble really step it up.
Yeah, absolutely. I think across the board, I think one of the keys was, how do you feel about Skilladon upping his play in this game?
Sure. Skilladon absolutely did what he was supposed to do. He came through and became a really strong player. You know, I often say that Skilladon can't be the guy. He needs to be a secondary option. But here, he was the guy. And I guess every now and then, you can ask him to be the first option. And on the Naja game, he absolutely did that. Coming through with the blink plays, the flash was absolutely there. Teaming up with MLC Stealth is perhaps the biggest deal. Skilladon, sure, yes, he put on a fantastic performance, but him and his mid laner are the ones that did it together.
How hard is it for Skilladon to hit those blink Ninja ult? How much skill does that take?
I mean, that is usually very tough. You're blinking into something that you have half vision on. You might be able to see through the wall, like see the health bars and the silhouettes, but you don't actually see through the wall. You're not Spider-Man or EMC, but you're able to blink forward and then find the ultimate. You're half feeling it, half getting it. It's tough. And Skilldon, nobody has ever discounted Skilldon's player ability. I think people have questioned Skilldon's ability to play in the spotlight. And right now was a spotlight game. ALG was supposed to win. Maybe when Skilldon is feeling like the underdog, he performs better.
That would make sense, given, looking back at his Oxygen Supremacy run, nobody gave them a second look, and look at what they were able to accomplish. Speaking of who Skilldon teamed up with, MLC, he had a monster game.
MLC looked fantastic. He plays to Nox. When anybody selects Nox, I go, why? Except for Prime and MLC Stealth here. There are two players, one in each region, that know how to play this character, because she's not. Listen, Smite is a complex game.
Is it now?
Let me give you a little secret. A lot of characters are a lot the same.
Really?
A raw line is another line. Of course, right now I can't think of anything. But what I'm saying is a lot of gods are very similar to each other, and you can kind of like play it 3 times and go, okay, there's more to learn, but I sort of get it. Nox is very, very different. The trouble puddle, as I like to call it, the pool of silence is really intense. Even if you get somebody right in the middle with full movement speed, they could walk out. You have to combo it. You can combo with other players, which is something we see MLC Stealth do. And Nox is an area denier. You cannot walk where a Nox doesn't want you to. That is the next level that we only really get to see out of MLC, and it's fantastic.
Absolutely. His level of play, I mean, there's a reason why MLC is a common name in the Smite scene. He plays at the top consistently.
So I will disagree with that. I think that the reason MLC is a known name is because he used to be one of the top players, and there was a period of time where he was not. If MLC Stealth continues to play like he did today, he will prove a lot of people wrong. A lot of people call him a has-been. I am not all the way there, but I certainly don't think he's original MLC Scylla with his name on the back. But right here, this play right here, I think MLC can bottle this, succeed with Noble, and prove a lot of the haters wrong.
So, with your assessment of MLC, his fall from grace, would you say some of that was attributed to going back and playing with Noble, because Noble's seen as this starter squad? I mean, we've talked about Flashpoint University. Noble has largely been another squad that's been in up and coming.
I think Noble has been MLC's rides back to his spot, actually. I think MLC floundered after getting kicked from his team long ago. We're talking almost a year at this point. And he had some personal issues that he mentioned publicly about his attitude or whatnot. And Noble was the first sign of MLC swallowing his pride and saying, you know what? Maybe they're all right. Maybe I should be doing something different. And then he came onto Noble, and he did that. They didn't succeed, but here he is now, and I think that this is the position that MLC needs to be in. He's surrounded by some good people. I would love to see him and Skilldon go to the top.
Absolutely. I love this Noble squad. I think that it's a lot of potential.
You've been high on them for a long time.
I have been high on it. I liken Wowie to like a panda cat. He goes in, he plays his role, and he does very well, and he's got that potential. So whether or not he capitalizes on it and he grows, we'll see.
Is this mute button not working? No. Okay, it has been working.
It has.
I've been hitting it the whole time, and I'm very glad it works.
All right. So at the end of the day, what was the biggest upset we saw today?
Really, the biggest upset that we saw today, I want to point to Noble ALG. But both of these are teams that are trending upwards, and ALG is a little bit more cemented. Poppy's rival. The Poppies beat rival. That blew me away. Did not expect that at all.
Yeah, I don't think any of us did. Well, I mean, I kind of called it based on if rival showed up, well, didn't show up is more apt. They've been more consistent this split in this season, but they haven't always been that way. All right, so I think that's it. I think we've reached the end of what we can talk about. So I think that's the bottom line, because hi-rez said so.
Andy Griffin out of nowhere.
Andy Griffin out of nowhere. So for all of us here at hi-rez, thank you for joining us. Don't forget to come back Saturday to watch some hot EU action. We'll see you there. Thanks, everybody.